across the political spectrum, according to the polls. But despite that, only one Democrat joined Republicans in passing a voting integrity bill in the House. Measure now goes to the Senate. A Ukrainian athlete's insistence on wearing a helmet that included photos of victims of Russia's war in Ukraine has resulted in him being disqualified from the competition. Russia, meanwhile, continues its unrelenting attack on Ukrainian cities. The abrupt closure and then the rapid reopening of the airspace around El Paso International Airport has some of the locals hopping mad. They say they received no advance notice of yesterday's interruption. Investigators continue tracking leads, following up on thousands of tips in the Nancy Guthrie disappearance. Now futures up 81 points. More details, srnnews.com.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had a lot of credit card debt, and it stressed me out. But what I thought was a solution turned out to be a problem. I kept hearing ads about debt settlement that seemed too good to be true. And actually, it was. When I called, they told me to stop paying my bills. That didn't sound right to me at all, so I hung up. Later, I found out that debt settlement is bad, real bad. Then I learned that there is a right way to pay off your credit cards. It's called a debt management program from the great team at Trinity. Trinity had a plan. In the end, I paid off my bills, I saved thousands, and I even improved my credit score.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-936-5496.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-936-5496.
They deliver far and wide, here to there, about anywhere. You hear this on the air. It's Mittens TA of Oakley with their modern, shiny fuel trucks and professional, pretty drivers. They deliver on site. They deliver on time. Diesel, gasoline of all types, AV gas, bulk, DEF, and lubricants. Contact the Mittens team, including Lucas Ruggles and Rodney Hoffner at Mittens TA, 24 hours a day on I-70, exit 76 of Oakley, or mitteninc.com.
With NWKS Radio News, I'm Connor Schuh. The other day, our own Joel Navarro got to speak with Jada Tubbs, the executive director of the Thomas County Community Foundation, about their upcoming Random Acts of Kindness event and a little bit of what it means to the community and overall. Here's a little bit of what she had to say.
Because starting Saturday through the next Friday, we have a little challenge each day. So just for example, like on Saturday, we're just hoping that you support a local business or a restaurant, shop small, dine local, and leave a kind review. And another example would be like on Monday, we hope that you write a thank you note, send a card, a message, or a note to somebody that you feel has made a difference in your life and our community, because everybody needs to hear it.
With NWKS Radio News, I'm Connor Schuh.
Today we'll have some sunshine in the morning, then increasing clouds in the afternoon. East-northeasterly winds are 5 to 15 miles per hour and highs in the lower to mid-60s. Tonight, lows will be in the 30 to 35 degree range, and tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with some rain showers possible later in the day and overnight. Highs will be around 60 and lows a degree or two above freezing, with southeasterly winds turning to the northeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Moisture will be limited, less than 1/10 of an inch north of I-70, and amounts of 1/4 inch or more would be to the south. Saturday morning, lingering clouds and light rain is still possible, then clearing in the afternoon for Valentine's Day. Highs will rebound back into the mid to upper 50s, and overnight lows will be around 30. High pressure ridge will return Sunday through Tuesday, and temperatures will climb back into the 60s to low 70s. Lows will be in the 30s. This meteorologist is Chris Romick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
At Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic, they believe in promoting healthier living through compassionate quality care. From state-of-the-art maternity care to life-saving emergency services, their dedicated team is there for you and your family. Whether it's managing diabetes, navigating recovery, or receiving specialized treatments, they're committed to your well-being. Discover the difference a community-focused hospital can make. Visit rayhospital.org today to learn more. Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic. Your health, our priority. Kick off 2026 ready for whatever winter brings. At Hoover Lumber, Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, they've got the gear to start the new year strong. Get organized with rugged storage totes. And when the snow starts falling, if it does, power through it with Ego and Craftsman snow blowers. Or if it's just the light stuff, blow it away with Ego leaf blowers. And don't forget ice melt to keep your sidewalk safe all season long. New year, winter ready. Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby. Helpful folks, trusted brands, and everything you need to get it done.
From drive-through banking to mobile deposit, we make it easy to get things done on your schedule. Banking should fit your life, not the other way around. This is Jessica Von Lintel at F&B Bank. Banking made simple.
In a small town, your banker should know more than just your account number. They should know your name. At F&B Bank, we believe in real conversations, friendly faces, and decisions made right here at home. I'm Paige Sneathen, Vice President at F&B Bank, and we're proud to serve your family like our own. Member FDIC.
Looking for serious truck savings? Head to Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland and check out these Chevrolet deals happening now. Drive home a 26 Chevy Silverado 1500 Custom with up to $6,000 in rebates, now just $45,335. Need more features? Step into a 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500 LT with up to $5,750 in rebates, now $52,040. Power, capability, and value, all backed by the Chevrolet name. See the lineup today at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, online at hurlchev.com.
Need a porta potty or septic pumping in Northwest Kansas? Call Topside Portables and Pumping, your local family-owned crew. They've got clean, reliable toilets for weddings, farms, and job sites, plus full septic services, RV waste, fertilizer tanks, and more. Available 24/7, because when nature calls, they answer. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. Reliable, local, clean.
You ready? One, two, three, four! It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
If you want to win in football, it all starts up front. Mass kicks ass.
And Connor Schuh.
He's the new guy.
The High Plains only local sports talk show. Broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
They're basically idiots.
Covering it all from the preps.
Up ahead to Blair Lennon. Lennon, the crossover back to Cure. Hello, boom! A two-handed tomahawk flush.
To the pros.
Shotgun snap to Nix. Protection is good. Bolden loads it up. He's got it. A receiver there. Franklin makes the catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Denver.
The Blitz is presented by Hurl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank. Along with
Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, the Insurance Agency, Pestaway LLC, Topside Portables and Pumping, and the Farmer State Bank in Oakley.
Let's go to work.
Hussman for three. Yes, sir. And the Hawkeyes get their first lead since it was 27-26.
There's the drive. Castillo misses. Buka with the rebound. Nice fake in the flush. Nice play by Doreen Buka.
Here's Kawhi Leonard spinning in the lane. Elevating, shooting, giving them the lead with 2 seconds to go.
Starts to his left to bounce down low to Reed. Here they come. Reed spins and dunks. He rocks the rim. And UConn leads 51-43.
Good Friday morning, everybody. It is the Morning Blitz on this February the 12th on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream, as well as, of course, Rocket 102.5, KLOE. Apologize to all of our streamers out there. The streaming's still not ready to go today. Said yesterday that we were updating the computer, which we were, and then unfortunately got locked out of the computer and can't get in. And so now we're trying to crack into it, and hopefully by later today we'll have the streaming up across our stations on Flyover Country 97.9 and here on Rocket 102.5. But whoever's having a good start to their Thursday, nice morning outside. No, not a lot of wind, just a nice, cool, brisk February morning, 34 degrees, going to be temperatures in the 60s again. And looks like that for the foreseeable future. It will cool down. I did see something yesterday, Connor, about maybe some snow coming up, not this weekend, but the following, like the 20th, the 21st. They're starting to project that far out, which, once again, that's a long ways away.
Yeah, don't hold your breath.
They're looking about possibly seeing some snow here.
I don't expect it. I'm just going to, if I see it, cool. If I don't, I'm not expecting it.
He's not going to see it or he's not going to believe it until he sees it.
Simple as that.
Well, it's a good way to go about it. That's for sure. Today's program, lots to get to on the show. We will be visiting with good friend Dan Lucero from WIBW Sports. He'll be stopping by, and we'll talk with him about all kinds of things. Basketball, maybe even some spring training news. We'll talk with Dan about that all coming up in segment 2 on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream. We will get into some college basketball from last night as well. And then we have a question of the day to get into here on the day as well. The question I have, though, to start things off, though, for you, Connor, is the question is, do you want to start off with the topic of the day, the first one that I put on the rundown, or do you want to get into what happened last night post game, K-State's drubbing versus Cincinnati? Because I'm not going to lie, that was pretty. I was not expecting to hear and see that. And that
I
was
think
big.
I saw the quote too. I think we should start with that.
Okay. All right. See, that's why I'm asking you. I didn't want to, I know we're fired up to talk about the topic in segment 1 on our rundown, but I don't know. I'm telling you what came about last night in Manhattan in what they could, it's known as the Octagon of Doom, or as someone I saw tweeted, the Octagon of Room, because there was nobody there. And then what happened post game with Jerome Tang is nuts, to say the very least. So with that being said, let's just set the scene here for you. So we come into this game, K-State last night at home at the Octagon of Room, taking on Cincinnati. Of course, the Wildcats coming in losers of 5 in a row, and it looks like 5 or 10 of their last 11. So they have not been playing very good basketball, obviously, have been the Wildcats. Of course, they're coming off of a game where they led by 20 twice, blew it in the end, and lost at TCU 84-82. So they return them to take on Cincinnati, who, when you look in the standings of the Big 12, Cincinnati kind of in the middle, lower middle is what I would put them. They're in the bottom half of the Big 12 standings. And anyway, last night, Cincinnati comes out and absolutely just is shooting fire. They knock down 16 3-pointers when it's all said and done. And this game, when you look at it, it was funny to see the probability and flow of the game. With 10 minutes left to go in the basketball game, with 11 minutes to go in the first half. That's how I should word that better. Cincinnati had a 93% chance to win. 93% chance. Because they were down 32-11. This and then it got to 95.6 at the 10-minute mark. So left to go in the first half. I want to remind people of that in the first half.
Disgusting.
So it was an absolute beatdown in this 91-62 final. It's amazing Cincinnati did not set their season high in points scored, because they talked about it with like 4 minutes left that they were going to set it, and they didn't. Cincinnati kind of took its foot off the accelerator and didn't end up getting to like 93 points is what they needed to get it done. But the storyline was there was lots of storylines throughout the game. Did you happen to see any photos from the crowd last night in the Octagon of Room?
Pretty empty, huh?
Pretty empty. And also there were paper bags.
Yep.
We had paper bags on the head.
You usually only see that for like pro sports teams.
I know.
So
I don't know
for that to happen for a college program, you have to be really, really bad. And I think we saw the worst of that last night. So Cincinnati's not even they're a bad offensive team, and they scored over 90 points and shot 57% from 3.
They have been a bad offensive team until the last 2 games where they've put up over 90 both games. But yes, you're right. But
yeah, it's disappointing.
So anyway, they're wearing paper bags on their heads. One of the bags says, "Do you have $18.6 million?" ? Another one says, "You're something about players aren't good enough," or something like that. I mean, it's very rough. But there's people in the crowd with the paper bags on their heads. And anyway, the game gets over. Kansas State is just gotten absolutely drubbed. Once again, 91-62 the final score. They dropped to 10-14, 1-10 in Big 12. I mean, they're down there with Utah, scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Probably worse.
12. And maybe they might be. They're playing worse right now. And anyway, Coach Tang, who always, is obligated to go on to the K-State Sports Network with our friend Wyatt Thompson and talk post-game with him, goes on the post-game show. I'm going to play you the entire interview. This is what Jerome Tang had to say with our friend Wyatt Thompson last night after, once again, a 91-62 lopsided loss at home to Cincinnati.
I know you're a very frustrated man right now. Just your thoughts.
No, I'm an embarrassed man. I'm embarrassed for our university. I'm embarrassed for our fans. I'm embarrassed for our student section. none of these dudes deserve to wear this uniform. And we got practice at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. And folks, this thing is going to get changed. Thanks a lot. God bless. Go Cats.
That was the interview.
Go Cats.
Usually what lasts like 5 minutes was 24 seconds long.
That was bad.
The things that Jerome Tang said were what blew my mind. It wasn't the fact that he was frustrated. I can understand that. It wasn't the fact that he was embarrassed. I can understand that. It was the fact that he goes up there and he goes, these guys don't deserve to wear the uniform.
You almost never hear coaches say anything like that.
I know. I don't know if I've ever had. Have you ever heard a coach say that about his players?
No, that is he's breaking some ground with that one. I'll give it to him. But
I mean, these guys do not deserve to wear the uniform. And then in his other press conference with the media, which I think only lasted 2.5 minutes,
he doubled down, right?
He said that they don't deserve to wear the uniforms, and he said most of these guys will not be back here. Most of these guys will not be back here next year.
Oh, goodness.
I mean, these are things. These are things that are being said in college athletics. And I don't even know if I've even heard it say it in the pros, to be honest with you.
No.
But these are things that are being said by a coach. I mean, this train is completely derailed. And now it's like a scene from Mission Impossible. I mean, it's like tumbling off the into a river somewhere. I mean, it is completely blowing up for Jerome Tang. I mean,
yeah,
I like it's your team. You assembled this team. You went out and recruited this team. You went to boosters and said, I need money to bring in these guys to make this team. And guess what? You're not.
Your team is bad.
Your team is bad. So guess who it all falls on? You. It falls on you. And that's the thing. Like, I know Jerome Tang initially took the blame, but now it's gotten so bad that now he just blames the players.
And I'm sure the players are a part of it, but obviously when you have this bad of a performance, it is going to be on you for not preparing your team right, for not doing what you can to put in the proper plays, and maybe the players aren't following them the way they're supposed to, or there might not even be plays, because sometimes you just kind of see him go out there and pray that PJ Haggerty goes and gets a bucket. But it's pretty embarrassing what they've put on display. And I think that buyout, no matter how big it is for Jerome Tang, that might get used at the end of the year here.
I mean, you can say what you want about how you should handle it as a coach, but I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is that, I mean, part of me as a fan is kind of like, well, I mean, you can't blame the players, yeah, but now you can't
say that as a coach.
Now you've gone too far, and you don't even take any blame for yourself.
No, you can't go and say that in the media. That's pretty much a death sentence for you and your team. When you get to the point where you're blaming your players publicly like that, you are towing a line, and you're pretty much falling off into the deep end.
I just could not believe that the two sentences that were said by Jerome Tang. One, not the fact that he's embarrassed, but these players don't deserve to wear the uniform. That was one sentence.
You can't say that.
Me. And the other one said, these guys will not be back here next year.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't say,
no.
I respect the honesty because that's probably the truth.
It's too honest.
But you can't say that. And you really
have to
can't say that
sugarcoat
to the media, not once, but twice.
Because then your players are going to see that, and then they're going to want to play for you less.
How about this? Because he said also in the interview, we got 6 a.m. practice tomorrow. How many of those guys you think showed up to 6 a.m. practice today?
Big zero.
I don't know. But can you imagine?
I assume it's not the full team. I bet there's some guys who are like, yeah, screw this. Like, this guy's insane, and he's trying to drive us out right now. Why would I want to go practice at 6 a.m. for this guy?
6 a.m. practice where you just got done literally throwing the team under the bus. Guys that you recruited, guys that you spent time with, probably hang out with, had in your house, during the fall and stuff like that to build team chemistry. And now it's just a complete, I mean, that locker room has got to be the most awkward place in the world.
It's probably pretty bad. I don't even know if it's awkward. I feel like the guys might just not care anymore, and they're just whatever.
Yeah. But, I mean, think about if you walked in there just as someone like to do media interviews, and Jerome Tang, can you imagine just what the players are saying about Tang? Because what Tang's saying about them, can you imagine that?
They got to really, PRify their answers to make them not against Tang, at least make it make it not so obvious that they're bagging on him, because I feel like it's hard not to bag on your coach after he says things like that about you to the public, no matter how much of a team guy you are. I can only imagine as a player playing for that guy. I don't know. I don't know how you deal with that.
But here's the thing. You don't know why they're probably at 6 a.m. practice, why I think they're going to be there?
Why is that?
Money.
Yeah, but they don't have an obligation to,
you have
I'd
a
imagine
contract
there might be something
that said you're going to be here to do all this stuff, and if you're not going to do it, you're not going to get paid.
Yeah, I wonder what those contracts look like.
I don't know.
I would love to see the wording of those. And
it would be great. I would agree.
If that's in there, like you have to show up to like 70% of practices or something like that. I would imagine it's more than that. But
you must have a good excuse to not miss practice or something like that. I mean, to miss practice. I I don't know, but there's a lot of things that were said last night, and there's a lot of things it blows my mind. Think about the stuff that was think about that in the context of the history of the sport that we cover. These guys will not be here next year. You couldn't say that 10 years ago.
You could never say that, period.
But my point is, you couldn't back that up.
No.
Really. They signed contracts for scholarships. They were there for the allotment. And if they wanted to transfer, they're going to sit out a year.
Not anymore.
Can't do that anymore. Now it's Jerome Tang for year number, 4 now in a row, 5 in a row. He's going to go out there and gut the roster and completely start over and hope that it hits. It's going to go put it all on black and hope that it hits or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
It's bad. This is some of the worst I have ever seen. And I've followed college sports, professional sports for a long time. This is some of the worst I've ever seen on what a coach has said about his team that he recruited and he built. It is some of the worst I've ever seen about what is being said about the players and about the program. I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm still floored this morning that those words came out of his mouth on YouTube or on the video stream for the post game and with Wyatt Thompson on the network radio.
I would love to know how Wyatt reacted when he just takes off the headset and takes off. Like, he's got to be stunned.
I would assume that, Wyatt knows how frustrated he is, and my guess is there have been some things said off record between him
probably
and Tang that probably it wasn't like a oh my gosh moment, but I'm
probably
sure
still a little surprised that he said that on air.
I guess he was shocked he said it on the air.
Yeah.
He had probably heard that before in another setting, two guys sitting around, the dinner table having supper one night or something, or at the breakfast table in the hotel. And maybe something is said there. All the players are back in their room and Tang's frustrated about something. But to drop it on air, it's one thing. I mean, that's one thing, things are said, off record. And I understand. And I feel like I'm pretty good about reading, when it should be on the record, off the record. Things are said that you just don't say, you just keep them to yourself. And you try to kind of put it into context and weave it in through a bunch of other stuff to kind of get the message across without really saying it. But that was unbelievable what was said last night. So some interesting stats here real quickly. Kellis Robinette, who covers the Wildcats for the Wichita Eagles, says Kansas State has lost its past 4 Big 12 road games by a combined total of 11 points. But the Wildcats have lost their last 3 home games by a combined total of 87. They have not played well at home. This is from Cole Manbeck, says K-State had never lost 3 home games by 20 or more points in a single season from the start of the Tom Ashby era from 95 to 96 through last season. Jerome Tang has lost 3 straight home games by 20 plus points. Like
That's bad.
It's bad. And the thing is, if you're talking about the AD and having to fire Jerome Tang and bite the bullet. I mean, he's going to have to go out there and find a booster that's going to want to fork up, 18 or 2 that's going to fork up 9. He's got to go find that.
I don't know if they'll be as excited to fork up that money right now.
I doubt it. But you know what? They might be more motivated now for what was said.
It's true. Get that guy out of our program, get him away from our team, and refresh. Just get somebody else.
I mean, I don't know. It's like I said, Jerome Tang, and I'll go back to my original point. He bamboozled Kansas State because the worst thing that could have happened to him was come in and just be absolutely lightning in a bottle and almost make a Final Four. That was the worst thing that could have happened to him. Everything came together just perfectly. And ever since then, he has not been able to put the same type of product on the floor because every year they start over, pretty much. Every year.
Yeah.
It's not the way to build teams. You can't just completely start over from scratch every year. I don't think you're going to find success on most of those times. Sometimes you're going to hit like he did on year number 1. He hasn't hit since. And right now he's hit rock bottom because now he's talking about throwing players off the team and not on. They shouldn't be there to wear the uniform. I mean, he's trying to stand up for Kansas State, but in the same way, he's completely just bashing himself.
And losing the locker room in the process, which he's probably already done long before yesterday.
Way gone.
Yeah, easily.
I mean, I love how he also said, I don't care what we're going to do. We're going to find a way to fix this. I'm like, it ain't fixable, buddy.
You're not. Yeah. I don't know how you fix that after you just call your team out and say they're all gone and that they don't deserve to wear the Kansas State uniform. You can't fix that.
You know what? This is going to sound dumb, but I'll tell you what I would do. I'd say, all right, well, I guess if we're done with these players, because I've already completely done this, I guess we're going to have either open tryouts or we're going to have the managers and the scrubs that are on the very end of the bench, players 10 through 15, come and play.
Would never happen, but it'd be interesting.
It won't happen. But I mean, maybe you draw. Tell you what, could you say we're having the managers play today on social media? I bet you there are people that would show up to watch that.
It'd be interesting to see how many points they could score against.
There wouldn't be as much room in the Octagon room, I'm telling you.
Honestly, just for the spectacle, they might fill it up a little more.
That's my point. That's the only reason why they'd fill it up. PJ Haggerty, by the way, I think had 24 points last night. He's only 7 points shy of 2,000 for his career.
He's a great player. Like, no doubt about that, but they can't do anything else outside of him. It's just simple.
This is what happens when you go and get guys that are just, once again, the superstars of their own team, and you try to put a bunch of superstars on one roster. This is what happened.
It's very funny because the Memphis team he was on last year, I think, was like a 5 seed in March Madness, and they were pretty good. But for whatever reason,
other guys around him knew their roles. I don't think the people at Kansas
State K-State clearly just didn't recruit the right guys around him, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, it is it's rough times in Manhattan. There's no other way to put it. It is rough times. But anyway, I still can't believe the audio that we saw. I'll be interested to hear what Dan Lucero has to say. He'll have some thoughts on this. I have no doubt. It'll be a part of his show today. So we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get to Dan Lucero of WIBW Sports. Don't forget, folks, coming up this weekend on Saturday, it is the Valentine's Day Dinner and Dance from Traditions Restaurant. You can still go get tickets at Traditions in downtown Goodland. So go to Traditions Restaurant, take part in their Valentine's Day Dinner and Dance with the musical group Strings Attached. And also today at the Methodist Church in Goodland, there's a blood drive going on, community blood drive. So go out there and save a few lives. Let's take a break. Come back. Dan Lucero will join us. We'll get to our question of the day back into the show. But stick around. Plenty more to get to here on a Thursday edition of the Morning Blitz.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pest Away in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pest Away today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning, Jared Law with the Andersons in Overland Park, Kansas, with your morning market update. It is Thursday, February 12th, in the overnight session. March corn up 1.5 pennies at 4.29. May up 1 3/4 at 4.38 1/4. July up 1.5 at 4.45 3/4. December up 1 penny at 4.60 3/4. Soybeans on the march up 11 at 11.35. May up 11, 11.50 1/2. July up 10 1/4 at 11.62 3/4. November up 3 3/4, 11.14 1/4. KC wheat on the march up 3.5, 5.42. May up 3, 5.54 3/4. July up 2 3/4 at 5.67. Chicago wheat up 2.5, 5.39 3/4. Feeder cattle yesterday finished 367.45. Live cattle 242.35. Lean hogs 86.90. Crude oil futures down 41 cents a barrel at 64.22. Gold futures up 6.50 an ounce, 5,078 and 10 cents. Silver down $1.95 at 81.80. U.S. dollar index up about a point at 96.72 1/2. Dow futures up 141 at 50,348. S&P futures up 26, 6,986. Need to move any cash grain or want to talk about risk management, you can reach out to myself, Jared Law, Tom Sluter, or Tyler Gosch, 913-748-3000. If you're out in Colorado, you can reach out to John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
Veltima fungicide outyields the competition by an average of 7 bushels per acre. But you've never been average. The only competition that really matters is you versus you. And with the performance of Veltima fungicide from BASF, you can take your best results even further. Beat your own record. Get every bushel you deserve. And make this your best season yet with Veltima fungicide from BASF. Always read and follow label directions.
When it comes to cattle performance this winter, protein isn't optional. It's essential. The right protein helps cattle pull more energy from every bite of feed and keeps rumen microbes doing their job. Want better fiber digestion and feed efficiency? Feed Smart Lick protein tubs. After all, performance starts with protein. It's not about working harder, it's about feeding smarter. Go to smartlick.com. That's smartlic.com to find your dealer.
Whether it's touchdowns, home runs, or buzzer beaters, we've got you covered. It's the Morning Blitz.
F&B Bank text line 785-899-2222. Getting going this morning with some thoughts on the Jerome Tang audio from last night. Jared H. says Tang's gone at the end of the season. Brian says, will he get players next year after seeing that interview? I wouldn't come to play for him if I was recruited by him.
It's a good thought.
A good thought there, Brian. I appreciate that. Kyle, who, of course, very good listener and a smart listener. Where does K-State turn if they can't win another Big 12 game? They are awful. And Kyle also says K-State fans wishing they had Brad Underwood right now. Well, there's a lot of people that wish they had Brad Underwood. A lot of teams wish they had Brad Underwood.
Yes.
But he's at Illinois doing his thing there with a Kansas kid. That was recruited in Keaton Wagler.
K-State wishes they could have Wagler, too. I mean.
Yeah, they would love to have that, you'd think. But Wagler, I'm guessing, is happy he's not here after seeing what he saw in the audio last night. Let's get to the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream. Waiting patiently, good friend Dan Lucero. Good morning, sir. How we doing today, buddy?
I'm good, Ross. Good to be on with you guys.
Oh, man. Dan, what is your reaction to last night and that audio post-game? Are you as surprised as we are that that audio was put out over the K-State Sports Network from Learfield?
I mean, look, you gotta play the post-game press conference. Got to play the interview. I don't know. Did he not go out post-game, talk to Wyatt and Stan? Because usually he'll do that.
No, he did. In fact, so you haven't heard this audio yet? Okay.
No, I have not heard. I've heard the podium audio. I have not. Yeah, I've heard the podium audio.
We'll play it for you, Dan. This was the entire interview between Jerome Tang,
long one,
and Wyatt Thompson post game of the loss to Cincinnati.
I know you're a very frustrated man right now. Just your thoughts.
No, I'm an embarrassed man. I'm embarrassed for our university. I'm embarrassed for our fans. I'm embarrassed for our student section. You know, none of these dudes deserve to wear this uniform. And we got practice at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. And folks, this thing is going to get changed. Thanks a lot. God bless. Go Cats.
That was it.
Look. What else is there to say? Cincinnati stinks. They hadn't won a road game all year, and then they go and drop a 53-point nuke on you in your home gym in the first 20 minutes. They shoot 16 of 28 from three. I mean, look, the idea of that was espoused in the post-game press conference. The idea of these guys don't care about this place. That is what we have been saying all season long. That is what we've been saying for 2 years. Is that they have spent so much money to bring in this transfer class of players. And these classes, these last two classes, have been full of guys who are there collecting a check. And look, they're overpaid. If you're going to pay big money in the NIL market, that's not necessarily a waste of money if you go get a pro. Like if you go get an All-American, like was Keontae Johnson a waste of money? No. But you pay Coleman Hawkins $3 million a year. That's not even a pro. Like I don't know what country he's playing in professionally. What league he's in? It ain't the NBA. and you make him the highest paid transfer in America. There's a lot wrong. You frankly, I don't have the time on my 3-hour show every day to lay out all of what has gone wrong there at Kansas State. But the idea of these guys don't care, that's not new. That's been obvious. If you've watched that team compete or not, it's very clear that their connection to Kansas State runs no deeper than the color of the checks being purple. And that is a shame. And that is a big, big part of the reason why Kansas State has ended up where they've ended up. But no, I don't blame Jerome Tang at all. Everybody's got a breaking point, and clearly he hit his last night.
And I want to stick on that for a second. Obviously, Tang's out of here sooner or later, and I think the thoughts can start being conjured up about who his replacement is. Have you thought about that at all? Who might be the next guy in?
Who are you going to be able to afford? Is my question to Gene Taylor. If you got to break off $18.675 million for the buyout, who are you going to afford? And here's the other question about that $18.675 million. Number one, who is Jerome Tang's agent? Can I have his number? That dude's the man in the industry right now. I guarantee you, people in the coaching industry are like, God, I wish my agent could get me that kind of job security. But here's the thing: that money ain't growing on trees in Manhattan. That's not going to be easy money to raise. The $18.675 million to make Jerome Tang go away. And this is the question that I think is worth asking if you are a K-State donor. Okay, I'm going to rip off a big check to the university. Wouldn't I rather Colin Klein have that money? Wouldn't I rather write that check to the football program and maybe get things straight on that side and get Colin Klein going? And, you know, they can lie in the bed that they've made with Jerome Tang for another season. That buyout drops down to 15 point whatever it is after next year. Like it doesn't get any cheaper. It only drops like $3 million a year for the next like 3-4 years. Like it's not getting a lot cheaper to let the guy go. So that's a calculation the donors have to make. But okay, let's assume the money is there, which again, there have been some rumblings that the money is there to fire Jerome Tang, to buy him out and to fire him. Okay, where are you getting the money for the next guy? Do you have enough money to hire Josh Schertz from St. Louis? I bet you don't. I bet you don't have the ability to be competitive with the other Power 4, Power 5, if you want to loop in the Big East schools that are going to be looking for a basketball coach this offseason, because it ain't just going to be K-State. Everybody's going to want a piece of Josh Schertz. You got the money for him? I don't know that you do. So I think the idea that, oh, we're going to get the hot young coach, we're going to get the next big thing to come to Manhattan after we paid Jerome Tang $18.675 million to go away, honestly, it might be better for the donors to spend their money on Colin Klein and the football program and just let the basketball program lie in the bed that it's made for another year, and maybe give Jerome Tang an opportunity, whether he'd do well with it or not, to finally build the program he was trying to build in the first place before he got seduced by the idea that I got to have a team full of expensive dudes. And the expensive dudes have brought nothing to that program but a whole lot of losing.
Well, the problem is, Dan, is that the first year with Jerome Tang, he brought in a lot of brought in a lot of dudes that played together. And now he's tried that formula multiple times again, and these dudes don't play together. And I think that's a humongous issue for them. And then you talk about the money too. You know, you've got K-State going to spend $18 million on him. You got to spend my new coach. Then you got to go out and spend money on the roster. I don't think there's that kind of money to go around to get that all done in one offseason.
Well, I can tell you this: if Tang is still around, the NIL, the money in the banana stand for the NIL is not there. No, that investment will not be made in kind as it has been the last couple of years if Jerome Tang does, for whatever reason, get year 5. But I think that is, like, if you really want to sum up the problem as best as possible to sum up what's gone wrong, they hit the home run. They knocked it out of the park in year 1. And I really think they went about building the roster the way they're supposed to going into year 2, because you had returning guys from that Elite 18, right? You had Cam Carter, you had David Gasson. In theory, you had Naquan Tomlin. Then that whole thing blew up, and that certainly people still don't really know what happened there, but that certainly derailed their season. That's probably a tournament team if Tomlin plays. They were built, I think, to be a tournament caliber team. They were right on the bubble without him. I think if he played, he probably tips the scales towards that team making the tournament. Then maybe we're having some different conversations about Jerome Tang's tenure if they go to back-to-back NCAA tournaments to start. But that was a program. You had a bunch of returning guys. Well, not a bunch, but you had some important returning guys. And they had a bunch of high school kids they went out and recruited. They recruited R.J. Jones. They recruited Day-Day Ames. They recruited Buddy Rich. Now, R.J. Jones and Buddy Rich are not Big 12 caliber players. Day-Day Ames sure is. And they ran him off the next year. They don't make the tournament, and they run off Day-Day Ames, and they run off just about everybody else, and they decide, all right, we're going to put together one of the most expensive rosters in college basketball because we have proof of concept that we can build something from the ground floor and we can make it shake. Well, the problem is, like you said, that fit is not always guaranteed. You can't just do that. It's lightning in a bottle when you capture it like that. And so they've gone away from the model that they need to be using. They need to be able to recruit the high school ranks and supplement a culture and long-term roster build with those portal additions. And instead of building the whole thing out of the transfer portal, because only in rare circumstances, like an All-American being available because he almost died on the basketball court 2 years prior, only in extraordinary circumstances are you going to be able to put together a roster that way that is not only going to win, but going to build on more winning. That's where Jerome Tang has most gone wrong in his time. That and his teams stink offensively. They're all bad. They go as their point guards go, and 2 years out of 4, they haven't had a real point guard, including this year. PJ Haggerty's just out there to get his buckets, and it shows.
That's a fact. He is out there to get his buckets. 7 points shy of 2,000 for PJ Haggerty, so good for him. Let's Dan Lucero is our guest here on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream from WIBW Sports Talk in Topeka. You were at the Kansas game here against Arizona. I know you've had some stuff on social media about that experience. Can you talk to us about that experience that you witnessed, KU taking down Arizona without Darren Peterson and all the stuff and then your thoughts just on Kansas basketball as they have really seemed to have hit their stride here late in the back half of this part of the season.
The thing that stuck out to me the most being there, and look, I like I've said, I'm not, I've been around less than half of Bill Self's tenure. I haven't been to all the great nights, the great moments in that gym, but I have a hard time believing there have been many more great nights and great moments that were greater than that one. And if you don't believe me, Bill Self said after the game it was the best win ever in that building. So, maybe take his word for it. But the thing that was obvious, like everybody finding out that Darren Peterson wasn't going to play half an hour before the game, that took the wind, I think, out of the Jayhawks to start. I think it took a little wind out of the crowd to start. Didn't quite have the same buzz in the building as before.
It took the wind out of me, Dan. I'm not even a fan.
Yeah, no, it's a drag. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, what do you make about Peterson not playing? Well, first, it sucks. He's awesome at basketball, and I like to watch him play, and it sucks when he doesn't. But it really didn't feel the same way it did, because I'd been at the BYU game a couple Saturdays before when it was Peterson versus DeBonsa, and the game day had been in town, and it felt like a heavyweight fight. Like the hype in that building, the energy in that building before the game, it wasn't the same coming out of the tunnel for Kansas. They went behind 6-0. Bill Self called a timeout a minute and a half in, and you could sense the energy in the building shift from, okay, they need us tonight. And it was 15,300 people all acting like the student section for the remainder of that basketball game. The energy, the noise, the chants, everything about it. It was the crowd understanding that they had to be the sixth man. They had to be the wind beneath the wings and help Kansas get that game over the line. If they were going to win it, it was going to be a building win. They understood the assignment right away. And Kansas dug down deep. They've always this year been a mentally tough basketball team, even at times where they weren't always the physically toughest basketball team. And they're not physically tougher than Arizona. Arizona's like, I didn't leave that game feeling any worse about Arizona. I still think they're the best team in the country. But mentally, Kansas is tough as hell. And it stems from Melvin Council, who might be the toughest player in America. Just when you go 6 for 25 in a game, but you make the big shot at the end, like that's Melvin Council. It was a tough night, but he ain't gonna quit shooting. He thinks the next one's going in, and they needed that. Somebody had to go take the big shot, and that was Council. And when the game ended, no one wanted to leave. And I don't know that I've been. I've seen. I was there for the dramatic comeback against West Virginia in 2017. I was there for Svi Mikhailuk beating K-State at the buzzer that same year when he took like 9 steps from half court to the basket before he laid it in to win the game. I've been in that building for some great wins and some great moments, but I've never been in that building where nobody wanted to leave after the final whistle. Everybody kind of wanted to stay in that moment a little bit longer because they understood how special that was. Bill Self understood how special that was. He acknowledged the student section. He sent the players out of the locker room to see some of the fans who'd stuck around, because you don't rush the floor at Kansas, but Self wanted to make that moment special for everyone as best as he could. And that was truly remarkable. I asked people on press row, you ever seen Self react to a win like that? Every one of them told me no. That was a unique night at Allen Fieldhouse, one I'll remember forever.
So if KU is capable of wins like that, what are the chances you think of them winning a national championship?
Well, they might have the most talented basketball player in America when he's on the floor. I mean, Darren Peterson is every bit as good as everybody says he is. And you don't have to watch him long to see his gifts and how he makes everybody else better by sheer force of gravity. The question has been, because he's been so infrequently in the lineup, can Kansas figure out the best way to operate with him? And unfortunately, before the illness took him out of Monday night's game, he had played 30-plus minutes in 3 of the last 4 games that he played in. So it was starting to trend in that direction where Kansas was getting the usage and the mileage they were expecting to get out of Peterson, and they were winning basketball games. So is their ceiling a national championship? I mean, I think they are going to be one of those teams that's going to get a high seed, and it's always tough to predict, right? It depends on matchups. It depends on good fortune, things like that. But to me, they have the most important pieces you need to win a national championship, which is you have a superstar who can get a bucket and make the game easier for his teammates. And they have, I believe, the best defensive player in America in Flory Badunga. And again, you don't have to take my word for it. Bill Self says he's the best defensive player in America, so you can take his word for it. But they have that going for them. They have a good backcourt. Their relative lack of depth, it doesn't really matter in the NCAA tournament. You really only need 7 guys, and they've got 7. So do I think they could win a national championship? Yeah, I do. I don't think they're as likely to win it as teams like Arizona or Michigan, but they could certainly be in the mix there at the end and book a trip to Indianapolis.
Dan, I could have you on for a full hour. I just don't have that kind of time. But I got to ask about your beloved Rockies, who have shown a pulse. They've shown a pulse this offseason, as small as it may, as faint as it may be. But they have done a few things. But we did see the big news. Well, I don't know if it's big news. It's just continuous news that Chris Bryant's out for 60-day IL. You know, he's getting paid. Talk about a guy who gets paid to do nothing. That's Chris Bryant. But anyway, your thoughts on the Rockies real quick before we let you go here as they report to spring training.
I'll be as quick as I can. The most obvious way that you can tell that things are different, like for real different, not just lip service different, for real different. Thomas Harding at MLB.com put out an article, I think last night. They're finally teaching Antonio Senzatella a different pitch. Like, this dude has been batting practice for the last 2 years, the worst starting pitcher in baseball, because he comes out and he's got one pitch. And I'm going to establish my fastball. And hitters tune him like a piano because the fastball's not even that fast and it doesn't move. And, well, what do you got off of that? Well, nothing really. Like a little wrinkle of a slider and a changeup that he never really developed. Like this whole time, his whole career, fastball, establish the fastball, throw the fastball. Oh, man, my fastball just ended up in the pavilion again. What do I do? Well, try it again, pal. You throw really hard. So now it's like, well, what if you tried holding the fastball a different way? What if you tried a two-seam fastball? What if we tried something different with your off-speed pitches? It's like when you call the IT guy and my computer doesn't work, and the first thing the IT guy is, well, if you tried plugging it in.
Oh, did you try rebooting it? Or yeah.
Have you tried plugging it in? Like that's the year. Like everybody knew all the brain trust from the front office to the coaching staff. I've just arrived, and the first thing they're going to do is, well, let's try plugging it in. Let's try rebooting. Let's try reinstalling.
And what, 7 years?
Yeah, no, my lifetime. I mean, they just never done anything different. Now it does really seem like they've got some adults and some intelligence in the room, and I'm interested in seeing where it goes. I'm not booking a vacation to go to any playoff games in October or anything, but it does seem like there are some real adults in charge.
Like I said, there's a faint pulse being shown there with the Rockies organization. Dan Lucero. Buddy, it's always great to catch up. We'll do it again soon. Thank you again so much for the time. Have a great week.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Once again, Dan Lucero. God, he's great. Love that guy. He's just got a way with words. I wish I had his brain. I've always said that he's got one of the best sports minds I've ever met and known. And I wish I had his brain. He is just it is unbelievably sharp.
Kids would call him a ball knower these days.
He knows so much about everything. It's amazing how much he knows about everything. He's so well read and so well studied. So thanks to Dan for joining the program. That was great on all levels, including the comedic relief of the Rockies there at the end. Let's get to our final break here. We'll come back, wrap up the show next here in the Blitz.
It's back, and it's the most popular promotion of the year. The NWKS Radio Bracket Challenge is here.
To tie of 3, yeah!
Pick up a paper bracket at participating sponsor locations, fill it out, return it, and you could win a stack of cash for your hoops knowledge. No apps, no gimmicks, just bragging rights, buzzer beaters, and a chance to cash in. This year's NWKS Radio Bracket Challenge is proudly brought to you in part by
Farmers and Merchants Bank, Dan Branner Ford, Colby and Goodland Automotive, and the Bottle Gallery.
It's time to step into premium capability at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland with strong GMC offers happening now. Get into a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation with up to $7,000 in rebates, now $51,150. And if you're ready for a full-size luxury, the 2026 GMC Yukon features 1.9% APR for well-qualified buyers. Full design, professional-grade performance. GMC delivers power and refinement wherever the road takes you. Visit Earl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland today or online at earlchev.com.
Kick off 2026 ready for whatever winter brings. At Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, they've got the gear to start the new year strong. Get organized with rugged storage totes. And when the snow starts falling, if it does, power through it with Ego and Craftsman snowblowers. Or if it's just the light stuff, blow it away with Ego leaf blowers. And don't forget ice melt to keep your sidewalk safe all season long. New year, winter ready. Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby. Helpful folks, trusted brands, and everything you need to get it done.
Your business was built right here, so was ours. At FNB Bank, we are not run from some distant city. We are run by neighbors, for neighbors. We know what matters to you because it matters to us too. From local decisions to face-to-face service, we are here. Bank local, grow local, stay local. FNB Bank, member FDIC.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
Sports talk that's fast, fresh, and always on point.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
This is the Morning Blitz.
So I know that that we were going to get to this topic of the day and talk about, the question of the day, and I think we may have to kick that to tomorrow, Connor, because I want to give that enough time. If you get what I'm saying, I don't want to just sprint.
It does take up a little more than a 5-minute span, or we have 2 minutes.
Let's kick that to tomorrow if it's okay with you.
That is just fine.
And so that gives it a little bit more time to chew on it. Tomorrow we will discuss. We kind of touched on a bit yesterday about, the question of the day yesterday kind of was, with Darren Peterson, being, if you get a bunch of $1 million players versus, one $3 million player or something like that, how does that all work out? And then we're going to talk a little bit about, college basketball players trying to come back to college ball after being in the pros and stuff. And there's becoming actually a list of guys now that are trying to get it done. And so we'll kind of tie all that in together. We'll do that tomorrow. I want to give that enough time and stuff to get to that. Couple quick things. 4 Days Tech Northwest basketball last night, losing on the road at Barton, but a couple of very close games last night. You had the Tech women losing 81-70. They were actually up 6 after the first quarter, but were outscored by 17 in the second and could not recover. So the ladies flew 80-71 to the 4 Days Tech Northwest women last night. 4 Days Tech Northwest men, tough break, close game throughout, come up a bit short, 78-76, the final score. I think the King Smith 3 at the buzzer to win it was blocked. And so the game was over, and they lose 78-76. Barton only made 3 threes. Tech made 10. Tech won the free throw shooting battle. They won the rebounding battle. They just didn't win the game.
Bad luck.
It's the sad part. It's a tough thing right there. And I was visiting with Raleigh after his show. We were talking about, he goes, wow, Tech just about knocked off Barton. That's a pretty good deal. I thought, this is no offense to the Jayhawk, but the Jayhawk is not as good as it's been in previous years. I mean, there's only 2 teams that are ranked in the top 25 nationally. Butler, I think, is like 14 or 15, and Dodge City's like 24, and they just got beat by Hutch, who's having a really down year this year.
Yeah.
It's especially by their standards. So you look across the league, they're just kind of eating each other up across the conference, and there's not really a dominant team, at least that's going to show nationally. That may show in the postseason because of how hard they have to play every single night. We'll just have to wait and see.
It'll be interesting.
Very interesting to see that. Also last night, by the way, Colorado Buffaloes played. The Buffs lost to Tech Tech. They had a bad night. 78-44 they lost. Season low, 44 points, and shot just 29%.
I'd call it less embarrassing than the K-State loss.
Yes.
At least it's Texas Tech.
Number 16. Yes, I would agree. It's definitely worse. And the embarrassment has come from now off the court or on the court to off the court for K-State basketball. It's gotten even worse there. And let's see here. A couple of quick things in local sports. I forgot to mention last night, 40 Tech Northwest women losing a duel at Chadron State, 24-14. And then Oakley going to Quinter tonight for some basketball. Colby boys wrestling at Holcomb for a duel tonight. And can't forget, it is the home opener for the Colby Community College baseball team today. They host Lamar for a doubleheader. Trojans are 0-4 after losing their first 4 games down in Altus, Oklahoma against Western Oklahoma State College. So let's get to the walk-off and wrap things up.
And back lifts his ball deep to right. How about a walk-off Gray? Thomas to the 10. Difference going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
I wrote on the rundown to remind me of something today, and I'm sure Connor was like, what the heck is this guy talking about with the power of radio? Well, I want to throw this out here. So yesterday, I go on my tiny little rant about the Colby Event Center internet not being strong enough to handle all the stuff, that was going on. it wasn't an hour later, I got a call from the event center saying, we actually have more internet. Here's the information for it. So the power of radio, getting things done. I look forward to coming back to the event center and having some internet there. I look forward to using that internet. That'll be great. But I didn't know about it. I mean, I've been doing games there since the building opened, and I'd never once been told. And there's plenty of people that know that I'm there doing the games. It's amazing. No one has ever just said, hey, did you know that we have this internet? In case you don't, you might want to use this. So
things happen.
It happens. It falls through. It's all right. Look forward to using the new internet there, or not the new internet, but the I'm going to call it the super internet at the event center there in Colby. Also, what have you been watching here at the Olympics lately?
I've honestly been pretty tapped out. Last night, I watched Ohio State basketball over the Olympics and was at work all day and then played basketball. So I missed out totally.
Yeah, that's right. See, I've been watching a lot of the curling, of course. I really like that. But there was one thing, I was watching the doubles luge where you stack two people on top of one another and go down.
Pretty entertaining.
The question I have is, how do you know that you're good at that? Like how do you know, I think I'm going to get into that. I'm going to lay on top of another person and go down a hill at 80 miles an hour.
Beyond me.
That's my question I have this morning. When you look at some of these events, you're like, how did you come to the realization that I think I'm going to do this, or I could be good at that? Because it's kind of odd. I don't think I'd like to lay on top of Connor and we go downhill in the luge. I just don't
think I'd be uncomfortable.
Like I said, I don't know. Definitely unique. That does it for the program. Thanks to Dan Lucero. Thanks to you for listening. We're back again tomorrow on Friday. It's Friday. We'll see you then. It's been Blitz.